What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Once a Project Podcast, brought to you by me, your host, Brandon. Your co-host. Joining me is
Jackie.
And joining us is a very special guest, a person who I've wanted to have in here for some time, but then finally we got to have you in here because Rodrigo was like, just do it, bro. Just ask her. So thank you for coming, first of all.
Thank you for inviting me.
And your name is? Present yourself, please.
My name is Lily Gonzales.
And what do you do?
I'm a registered dental hygienist, and I'm also a business owner of Illumina Teeth Whitening.
Dang. So, okay. So we're going to start with how it all started.
Ooh, okay.
Where does Lily come from, and what's her upbringing like?
Okay. Like from the beginning.
Yes.
Okay.
From the time you were out of the womb, the time that your mom and your dad were like, we're gonna have a baby. Her name's gonna be Lily. From that time on.
Wow. Okay. Well, I was born here originally in Idaho Falls. Born and raised here. I graduated from Skyline. I went to Idaho State University. Got my bachelor's in dental hygiene, and yeah, that kind of skipped a lot. I went to that's like the big bullet points. But yeah, I was raised, my parents were immigrants from Mexico. They've lived here for more than 30 years now. Mm-hmm. And I think that being I'm first gen, first one that's graduated college in my family. Whoa. So, and now I've started this like little business thing. So yeah.
So where are your parents from originally?
My dad is from Tepic, Nayarit, and my mom is from Aguililla, Michoacan.
Oh, wow.
They met here, so yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, they met
And they're
here.
both immigrants? Mm-hmm. Wow, that's interesting. Yo soy de Culiacán.
Okay.
And then she's from Guanajuato. So that's cool.
I'm a little blend.
You're a little blend of
both.
What was it? So how was high school for you? How was your experience in high school?
Well, I went to a really small elementary school. It still exists. It's called Osgood Elementary School. Right now it's like part of like the Head Start migrant program. Okay. But before, it was a really tiny elementary school, like out in the country, because my dad worked in like with cows, farms, things like that. And so I went to a really small elementary school, and I was the only Mexican girl in my class.
Oh, wow.
There was maybe 25 kids. We had like a classroom for each grade, basically. Yeah. And I know like my youngest sister went to Westside Elementary, and there was like a few classrooms for each grade level. Oh, but my elementary was pretty small, about a classroom for each grade level. And I was the only Mexican girl, and I think there was 2 or 3 Mexican boys in my class.
Whoa. So where's that school at? Like, where is it by Blackfoot? Or like...
No, it's here in Idaho, well, like the outskirts of Idaho Falls.
Okay.
So yeah, just like go out past the soccer complexes, way out there. I don't even know which street it's on, but it's like... Interesting. Yeah, it's out there.
Oh, that's cool. Have you been there?
I think I've seen it.
You think you've seen it?
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. So you go to high school, and what was it that made you want to be a dental hygienist? Because that's your first step, right?
Yeah, I did a career exploration class when I was in high school. So I think it was like my senior year. Yeah. And I originally wanted to do dental assisting. I was like, I'll just be a dental assistant. I like teeth well enough, and I'll get to learn more about teeth and see if it's something that I want to do. Yeah. So I went, and for 6 weeks you are working with like the dental assistant. They show you everything, do stuff with the dentist. Mm-hmm. At the place that I specifically went to, they hired me to do scrub tech. So after they start to close, I would take out the trash, or I would kind of assist the hygienist, like doing their perio charting or notes or things like that, help the assistants do sterilization with the instruments. I started doing that. Mm-hmm. And then as I got to know the assistants, they were like, well, if you're going to go to school, you might as well do hygiene and do the hygiene, because assistants, there's a school here where you learn for a year, get certified in your assisting. And I was like, okay, maybe for my next 6 weeks, I stayed at that same office, and I just shadowed the hygienist at that time. Okay. So with that, I kind of got to learn more what they do. It's, for some people, really boring. Yeah. Like, we do the exact same thing every single day, where, charting, you're cleaning teeth, you're giving oral health instructions, things like that. And here I am.
I was like, you were not joking about talking with your hands.
I talk with my hands.
You're not joking about that. I was like, holy crap.
No, I'm going to sit on them.
No, don't do that.
Tape them. But yeah, so I started shadowing them, and I really liked it. I was like, this is nice. For me, I don't like surprises, I think. Like, I like to know what I'm doing every single day. Kind of a thing.
Person?
Like, in a sense, yes. Like, for work, I know what I'm going to do. It's every day. It's really repetitive, but I love it.
Yeah.
So the thing that varies is like the health of the patients that I'm seeing, or what, you know, if I'm going to do a big deep cleaning, or am I doing this, or it's pretty the same, and I love it. I love helping patients with their teeth. I love helping their oral health and getting to talk to patients and stuff. I just really think it's exciting. But after that 6 weeks, I was like, this is what I'm going to do.
Okay.
But it wasn't like direct after high school. I think after high school, I took some college classes, and, you know, it was like little by little because I'm paying my way through school.
Yeah.
So, you know, I take a few classes, work full time, took a year off, you know, but I was getting there. So it took me a little while to kind of get all my generals done. And then finally I applied to the program, and I was like, oh my gosh, hopefully I get in. It's really competitive. Idaho State is super competitive.
Really?
So I had applied to Idaho State.
Whoa.
And then I was going to go to Carrington. There's a school in Boise. I believe it's Carrington.
Carrington? I've never heard of it.
It's just like they do like nursing, like several.
Oh, it's like a small school?
It's a smaller, like more private.
Oh, gotcha.
So more expensive. So I was like, I'm gonna go take a tour of the school in Boise just in case I don't get in at ISU. And then I had set up my appointment, and then that weekend I got my letter in the mail, and I was like, yes, I got in. And so I was like, I'm canceling my appointment. I'm not going to Boise anymore. And so I went to Idaho State. And yeah, I graduated in 2018, and I've loved it. Yeah, it'll be 5 years now.
Yeah, 5 years. That's cool. That's cool how you, so we'll get into your business here in a little bit, but it's cool to kind of see the progression of how you got into your dental hygienist career. And then 5 years later, you're like, okay, now I want to start something for myself, which is now your business, right?
Yeah.
But within those 5 years, how did you deal with like the stress of school, of this new career, of being the first gen in your family to go to college, I assume?
Yeah.
How was dealing with all that pressure and stress?
It's hard. I think especially for like my parents. I'm the oldest in my family. My parents, like, you know, are hardworking. My mom stayed home and raised us. There's 3 of us. We're 3 girls. And I was the oldest, and they're very strict. My parents were super, super strict.
Wow.
And mostly, I think, like, they're like, you're not going to move away to school. Like, what are you going to, like, you know what I mean? Like, they wanted me to stay here, which is fine. There was a branch of ISU that you could do my generals here. But I think...
Oh, because you had to go to Boise for the
smaller schools in Boise. But even after, like, when I graduated high school, they're like, no, why are you going to move away for? Like, there's no reason. You can do your generals here, kind of a thing. So not to say that they weren't supportive. I think they just want to try to take care of you and shelter you for as long as they can. Yeah,
it's like that old school mentality,
for
right?
Sure. Like, what am I going to go out and do? Like,
yeah. Were they like that all over, you know, the whole place where, like, with maybe like guys, if you dated someone?
Oh, yeah.
Was it like that with, you know, with school too? With like, hey, you got to be back as soon as school is over, be back at the house, and you're going to stay. Was it like that all the way around?
I mean, they let me have a job. I could have a job. You know, I've worked since I was 15 or 16, you know, so I could go to work. I would go out. And the thing that I'm the oldest, and then I have a younger sister that's 13 months younger than me, so we're really close. Okay. And then we have our youngest sister is 8 years younger than we are. So with us, like, we would go out together, be home at midnight. Like, don't be going, like, they were just like staying up and waiting for us till we got home, and they're worried. That's fine. It's natural. And then we've noticed with, like, my youngest sister, we're like looking at her tracking up. We're like, why aren't you home? Like, we're like more strict because my parents are just like, whatever, she's out. We're like,
at that point they're like tired of it.
They're like, we're not gonna stay up and watch you anymore and see what time you're coming home.
Interesting.
So she works for Dutch Bros and she does great. But yeah, she'll be out, and we're just like, I think my middle sister watches her more like, what time did you get home last night? Who were you with? And this and this. And so we noticed.
What's the ages between you two? 3.
So I
don't mind me asking, of course.
I am 21 plus 10, so I'm 31.
Oh, really? You don't look 31.
Thank you.
What type of face moisturizer do you use? Jesus.
The secret. No, I'm 31. My younger sister's 30, and then our littlest one is 23.
Okay, so she's the littlest one is around our age.
Yeah.
So I'm 21, and then she's 22. But we look like we're freaking 30 already. I mean, look at this. I have like stress.
And it's only starting.
We're about to have a baby, and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna age like 10 years here in the next 3 months. That's cool though. So, your parents being strict, did it affect you like psychologically with going to school? Did it kind of hold you back in a little bit?
Definitely.
Did you feel like you?
Oh yeah, because I wanted to. I don't know if. I mean, we'll never know. Like we could say, what if? But like, what if they'd let me like move to Pocatello and go to school or move wherever I wanted. I felt like when I was applying to schools, I was limited in what I could do because I'm like, my parents are not going to pay for me to go to school somewhere. I'm not going to be able to go do this. But like, I definitely don't resent them in any way. I think it was meant to happen how it happened. But definitely I was like, okay, my options are here in Idaho Falls or Pocatello.
Yeah. Gotcha. I'm going to move your mic real quick.
Oh, okay? Sure. I turned a little more too.
Yeah. I'm going to move your mic. If you want to play pause, we're good? Mm-hmm. And we're back at it. I had to move your mic a little bit. Okay, so you felt like you were a little bit restricted with the options you had for going to college, right? How did they take it when you came up to them and were like, hey, I'm going to go do this? And like you were firm about your decision at that point, right?
Definitely they're supportive because they know I'm like working towards something, you know. I was working, I was going to school, and so I got in. My mom, they're super excited. But I was like, am I going to move to Pocatello or am I going to drive every day to school kind of a thing? Yeah. So, because it's close by, but, parents are like, well, what about the winters? And, they think about all of these things.
They think about everything?
Yeah, absolutely. So the only thing was like, just like, they were supportive in that sense, like, okay, you're going to go to dental hygiene program, you're going to do this. So I think plus I was older now, so then they're just like, okay, like, they were more supportive, I think, when it came to that. But I think at the beginning where I was like younger, fresh out of high school, like I always tell my sisters, like, they didn't even let me go to, like when you graduate and they do like the all-night all-night party or whatever. My parents are like, no, you can't go to that. They're going to serve alcohol. And I'm like, they're doing that so you don't go like out and, something terrible happened to you the night of your graduation. They're like, well, you have to be home at 10 o'clock. It's like, all right. So I went for a little bit. And then the year after, my sister was allowed to go to hers. I was like, that's cool. I'm like, so with everyone, I feel I was like, you know what that saying is? They're like, I walked so you could run. Basically, that's my life.
The first child is always like the guinea pig too. Yeah. I'm the first child in my family too. My family was not that like strict with me, but still, like, there's some things that my parents did. I'm like, damn, I was a guinea pig. Like, my brothers don't experience that now, or my little sister, like, she didn't have to go, or she's not gonna go through anything that I went through. Yeah. And it's kind of like you said, I walked so you can run type of deal. So you get into college. Was there fear?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's always really scary, I think, doing something new or being away from your family. And then plus, I think the dental hygiene program is really hard. It's like I said, it was pretty competitive.
How long is that program?
Your generals, and then it's a 2-year bachelor's program as soon as you get in.
Okay. And your generals is what, like a year?
It could be 2 or 3, yeah. It depends on how long it takes. It's just like your prereq classes.
How long were you in school for?
I feel like I was in, like Rod always tells me, he's like, you could be a doctor. Because I was going part-time, full-time, or I took a year off to do all of my generals. So it took me a little while to get them done, and especially because dental hygiene, you have to have a good GPA to get in.
What type of GPA, like 3.0?
Yeah, or probably even higher in some cases. Because I remember I had a C, and one of my instructors was like, because you have an advisor. Yeah. Like someone who's like, okay, well, you might have to think about retaking this class if you don't get in or something. Kind of like strict like that. And then I have a co-hygienist worker that I work with right now, and she's like, yep, they told me the same thing. And she's like, I got in though. But yeah, some years I think are harder than others. It just depends on the people that are applying that year. Yeah. And
so you don't have to like give me specific numbers, but like a general, like what does a hygienist generally make a year?
It depends. I think definitely where you're at. Where in Idaho Falls we can be in the lower area. Yeah. For example, let's say California, you could make $50 to $60 an hour. Where in Washington you could make something towards that as well. Yeah. Washington though, you can do fillings. Idaho doesn't allow us to like do fillings. So like when you go and you have a cavity, the doctor would drill out the cavity. And then that's basically where his job would end. He drills it out, and then a hygienist could go in and fill it up.
Interesting.
So that's the kind of difference. So there's a pay scale difference there too. Definitely, I think maybe the Idaho Falls area is starting to look into maybe not $50 an hour, but at least 30. You know, there's a range. It depends. Higher. Yeah.
At least probably making like 35 a year or something like that.
More than that.
More than that.
Yeah, I would say maybe 60 to 80,000 a year. Depends where.
In Idaho Falls.
That's
pretty damn good.
It's starting to get up there for sure.
There you go. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool. So you get right out of high school, or not high school, college. Was it hard finding a spot to work?
That's something that they always they're like, oh, be careful. There's dentists in every corner. Like, you know what I mean?
Literally,
so
there's a lot.
There's a lot. So I think when I had graduated, I was like, am I going to find a job? Plus you have to like do your licensing, you have to take your board exams and get a license. And so you're waiting for that license to come in the mail and you're just like, where am I going to work? So I would temp. So sometimes if a hygienist calls in sick or is going on vacation, you could go into that office and work for a day or a week or something to fill in their spots. So then that way the dentist isn't losing any production from, you know, not having a patient in that day or something, or canceling the whole day.
Interesting.
So I started doing that, and then I found a part-time job. I think a lot of flexibility with being hygiene. You can do part-time and make decent money. Like,
really?
So it's really great, I think, for people that want to have families. You could work 2 days a week and 2 or 3 days a week and still be just
doing
fine.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be something to look into.
Yeah, I really love it. And I've had girls that I've worked with, you know, like not have kids and then have kids. And they're like, okay, I'll come back full time. And then they're like, oh, no, I love my baby too much. I'm going to come back 3 days and then 2 days. And then you're just like, maybe I'll work 1 day a week. And so, you know, it's nice to have that flexibility because you're still getting social, talking to people, doing your job, not losing your dental hygiene kind of groove. And you're still able to have time for your family. And it's nice because you're not working nights. Holidays are off. You know, it's not like a hospital setting where you have to work Christmas Eve or Christmas or something like that. So I really like that flexibility with my job.
Do you feel like you at one point you'll want to take that step forward or that next step into becoming like an actual? I don't know if is a dentist different from a hygienist?
It is. Okay. Yeah.
So would you ever look into that, or are you looking into that?
I'm like, should I go through? My fiance always makes fun of me because I'm like, maybe I should go to dental school. Maybe I should go do this. Yeah. And he's just like, sure, whatever you want to do. And then, you know, it's another, maybe you have to take like a few more classes and then it's another 4 years of school. Yeah. And then if you specialize. But I don't think I do. I've had the thoughts, and I know people do it all the time. There's dentists that went to hygiene school and then go to dental school and stuff. Yeah. But I don't know. I've thought about it, but I'm like, well, should I? And then I've always known I wanted to do something more, if that makes sense. Like, I'm like, is it hygiene? I love what I do. But I'm like, I always felt there was a little something more that I can do.
Gotcha.
So I think that's where teeth whitening probably came in for me.
Came in for you? Yeah, and it's something that you do on the side that can one day, you know, hopefully build itself, or you build it to the point where then you do it full time, and then it's not just, now you have an actual like business for yourself going, right? Where I think if you go into become a dentist, the money is there, which we all know, but I think to get your name out there is a little bit harder just because there's so many dentists. But teeth whitening, I don't know how many businesses there are around here. I actually had a teeth whitening company reach out to me from Boise trying to like sponsor us, and I was like, man, I'm not gonna go all the way to Boise to get a dang teeth whitening. Like, I saw your post and I was like, I'd rather go to you know, Lily's, because I know her through Rod, and you know, it's local. I don't have to drive 4 hours. You want me to show you? It off.
Yeah.
I'll show you. What does your man do?
Julio works for Melaleuca. So he is, I don't remember what his position's called right now. He does like solutions and stuff. So he works like with computer fixing, finding solutions, I think. Okay. He's been there for almost 10 years now. So
what is he? So he's in Melaleuca. How long you guys have been engaged for?
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, never mind.
No, it's okay. No, we've been together for 12 years now. Dang. Yeah. So I've been with him since I was 19, and I think we've been like right now, like we bought like 2019. We bought our house together. We're like Mexican married. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're like
juntados, in other words.
Ya estamos casados, dice mi mamá. And so we're like together, but I just cannot bring myself to plan a wedding. Like,
yeah, I mean, we started planning a wedding, and then I think unconsciously we were like, we're not ready to do the whole planning, so we decided to have a baby.
That's perfect.
No, I don't know, but Yeah, we started planning a wedding hall like so we got married already, but through the state, and then this year we wanted to get married like through the church, and we started to plan everything, and like I was just like, this is a lot.
It's stressful.
It's very stressful.
Writing down the guests and stuff is already hard enough.
I know.
Like we wrote down our guests, and we were like hitting 200 people, and we were like, where the hell are we gonna fit 200 people?
How do we
and
know
then
this many people?
The places here are ugly, and they're not that big. Like you can't fit.
It's just even the invitation, people. Like how you want your invitation is stressful. And then I was just like, this is a lot. That's why people hire wedding planners, because they take care of all. Like, you just gotta choose your colors. They give you
your options and you pick. I think I was turned off by having a wedding, watching my sister plan her wedding. The same year that I graduated, she got married in that same month.
Oh, wow.
And she had a huge, I feel like it was huge. I feel like there was like 350 people on her invite list.
Wow.
So it was,
That's a lot.
And it was like, it was before at that one like event center. It's now like a spa place where they like
the bullfrog?
Yeah, it was, they had it there so everyone fits, but it is ugly. Like when you go in and look at it, you're like, there's concrete floors, there's the paint, and like that's it. So there's like a lot of decorating that was done and everything. But like, I mean, we love our parents, but like they're like, hay que invitar a este señor. Like, let's invite this guy that said hi to us, or like this person invited us to a baptism. We have to invite him to your wedding, kind of a thing. And so I feel like it's a lot of opinions, and I feel like Mexican families were so close, which is great, but at the same time, you're just like
so involved, so involved in decision making, and you see that throughout generation after generation after generation until you decide to break that and be like, hey, like, cool, we're family members, like, I love you, mom or dad, but this is my family. I decide what to do with my family. Of course I'll take the good things, but there's certain things that we're gonna keep back,
yes,
because it's rough, and we talked about that a lot lately, with having our baby, our firstborn. We talk about like, okay, what do we like from our families? We'll bring it into our family nucleus, but what we don't like about them, let's not do what they did.
Right.
With
you have the opportunity to change that.
Yeah, and let's keep a healthy line between grandma and grandpa, and then mom and dad, and then baby.
Yeah.
Because I think it's very important. Sometimes you can see that an aunt or a grandma or grandpa or whatever can be more of an influence to the baby, to the kid, than the actual mom or dad. And that, depending on how you view it, I'm like, okay, well, you got to make sure, that the baby knows who's actually the mom and dad in the relationship, or, or who to be the main priority influence. It's important. But here's this company. Yeah, I was like, oh, I don't know. Here.
Is it? Oh, I knew it was going to be them.
You knew?
Yes. So this company, when we get to it, I don't want to like jump into whitenings, but there's like the company that I go through, and then there's that company that kind of follows everyone, that company. So I've heard about them. That's cool.
Yeah, but you don't like them.
No, I don't know them personally. I just hear when I talk to the owners of the product that I sell, they're like, whenever we pop up with a location, they follow us. And then whenever we have our pricing, they try to do it cheaper. But then when you walk in, there's nobody in there, or there's, kind of a thing. So sometimes yes, the products that I go through are a little more expensive.
Yeah.
But it's also quality, a different environment, things like that. And so they're just but I'm sure they do.
Do you want to read their deal to me? Go ahead. You can go ahead and read it. That's their deal. I mean, I was like, it's not bad. It's not the worst deal ever, but it's not convincing. And I think that I rather go through someone, who can convince me a little bit more. That's what I say about buying things too. If you go to the store and you see a shirt, if it convinces you, if you're convinced, buy it. If you're not, don't. If you're, I don't know, don't buy it.
I feel it sounds so automated. At the end, where it's just you're not anywhere close. They probably don't even realize.
Yeah, I'm you're 4 hours away,
North
dude.
Boise
The way, just on that trip, I'll waste more money than what I'll be receiving, off.
Yeah.
What you're offering me.
And are your followers or people gonna go to Boise just for that kind of a thing?
Yeah.
Because there's not.
I mean, if they were local, then it'd be more to look into. I think that's more of a possibility.
Yeah.
But Boise, I mean, I'm not in Boise, so.
Yeah, how funny. Yeah, that's cool.
It's a drive.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know you knew them though. I was like,
yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah, so it's like almost like a franchise now. I think in some states on the west side of the United States. Yeah.
So where were we at with? We were somewhere. I forgot where we were at. So how do you know Rod?
So Rod, actually, I met him at ISU. We had the same math class. I didn't know who he was, but I remember I would see him there with this girl. And we were just in the same math class. And one day he came in late, and I was just sitting like, have you been to the ISU place here? They have like all they have just like rows. I'm sure it's the same at every school, but they have these rows, the tables, and that's kind of like the auditorium where it's like down. So then the teacher's like at the bottom. Yeah. And so I was just sitting in math class, and then all of a sudden Rod comes behind me. So I don't know him at all. Yeah. I don't know this guy. I just have seen him, and he's like, "Hey, did you get the math homework done?" And he like comes and sits by me, and I just look at him, and I was like, "Yeah." And then he's like, "Cool," and he sat down, and we were in silence the whole time. Like, this is really awkward. Yeah. And this guy just came, sat by me. I was like, I'm sure he thought I was his friend. We had the same color hair, black jacket or whatever. And then she came in late, and so then when class was over, he turns around. He's like, "I thought she was you," and I sat next to her. And then ever since then, we were friends. So I've known him for a long time now, yeah.
Whoa, shout out to you, Rod, from Red Pod. He's a little weird, though, huh?
Sometimes, yeah.
No,
he's goofy.
No, I love that dude. He's funny to be around and talk to, so I love being around that dude. He's funny.
Yeah,
when he was my third guest, but guest as far as like me not knowing, like the first two guests or whatever I had were like friends of mine that I already knew, but he was like the first one that I didn't know too well. I knew him from the tax from Luis. Luis was the one who kind of was like, "Hey, dude, you should do a podcast with my friend. He does a podcast back here." And I was like, "Cool." So when I started talking to him, when he got here, at first I was like, "Okay, this is a little weird. Like, I don't know, what am I gonna ask this dude? All I know is that he does a podcast." But then like we got into like confianza, like it just started to build.
Well, the thing is that he doesn't make things awkward.
Yeah, no.
He's very talkative.
He is. He's
very
really
easy to talk to. Yeah.
Very easy to talk to, and we just built a friendship from then, and then not to the point where we give each other carrilla, which is always like that's how you know when you've made like a good friend when you can talk shit and they're like, "Yeah, dude."
and it's fine. Yeah, I feel like Rod. He lives to roast people.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, he does. I mean, that dude is something else. We're gonna go help him here in a couple days. So I'm excited about that. We'll see how it goes. But so you're in college, you get out, you're finding this job. That's where we're at.
Oh yes.
Finding this job. Have you been at the same spot since you got out?
No.
So talk me through that. How was it going from one job to another job, and then
Okay.
Where are you at now?
Okay. So I worked part-time for this dentist. First I was temping for him, so like filling in when he needed somebody. Yeah. And then his part-time hygienist was going to leave, so I took her spot. So I worked part-time there, and then I subbed, and then I started to get more hours as they get busier and busier. So then I was full-time there. And then in a year, he like brought us down to lunch, and he's like, "I'm going to buy you guys lunch. We're going to have a team meeting." And so we were all right there. And it was a small office. It was the dentist, 2 front desk, 2 hygienists, I think 2 assistants, one or assistant and a half or something like that. And he brought us down, and we're like, "This is weird." He bought us lunch. I feel like something. He's just chillaxing. He's leaning back, like, "Enjoy your lunch, guys." And we're like, "This is weird that you bought us lunch. Like, what are you doing? Like, did you sell the office or something?" He's like, "Ha, you guys." And he sold the office. Yeah. Whoa. So he sold his business, and he was going to move to Utah. So as part of that, we're like, we kind of just got fired in a way. If you think about it, you're just like, oh my gosh, like, I was like, I just got out of school. I just barely started working, and now I'm going to get fired now? Like, what's going on? And he's like, well, the dentist that bought the office, he wants to give you guys a trial run. So we were going to be there working with him for a little while, and then in 90 days, he gets to decide if he wants to keep us or not. And I feel like at that point I should have been like you should realize your worth and be like, I don't want a dentist to decide like if he wants to keep me or not, or like to work for my job or be on, not that I'm on my worst behavior at work, but I don't want to feel like I'm walking on eggshells at work.
Yeah, you don't want to feel like, oh man, if I do something wrong, this guy's going to dupe me, He's going to bounce and I'm out of this place.
Yeah, and it was a little stressful and we're nervous. So then like the new dentist came in and he worked for a little while. And after that time, he decided like who he was going to keep. He kept all of us, I think. I think he might have, I don't remember if it was at that time that one of the hygienists left, or if it was after.
Is he still around town?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yes,
wow.
I'm not going to say who or what, because then what if I get sued?
Yeah, we don't want to get sued. But after.
So I worked there for like a year and a half. So he decided, like, I like you, I'm going to keep you, whatever. One of the hygienists left, and I told one of my friends to come and work with me. And it was, let me see, probably like a year or so that I was there. And I was like, great. Like, now I've been a hygienist for a little while. I started, let's say like at the lower where I was telling you like $30 an hour, let's say. I feel like that was pretty normal at the time where I was working to be making.
And this is how long ago now?
Maybe 2018, 2019-ish.
So this is, $30 back then is pretty good money.
I feel like,
the economy, Trump was still in presidency, so yeah, pretty good economy at that point.
Yeah, it was, and so that's what I was making. I was like, I think it's time, like for me to ask for my raise, because I didn't really get to, because that dentist had sold the office in a year, and so I was like, maybe I'll ask, And at the time, he was like, well, I'll think about it. When I had asked, I was like, I'm great with my patients. Like when you go and ask for something like that, you have to come up with like how much money you're producing for the office, how, like, if your patients like you, this and this, like, because at the end of the day, like, we're still making the dentist money.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So you're involved in obviously that field. So this is my question with like those type of businesses, right? So the dentist comes out of college with a bunch of debt, right? And how long is a dentist career like to go to college? 8 years?
8 years.
Okay, so you come out of college with 8 years of debt, and you start your business. That's kind of like the first step, unless you go and shadow someone like another dentist office or whatnot. But if you're not, you start your own business, right? Or you buy a business or whatever. How much does a dentist really make from their business? I mean, is it lucrative? Like, is there people really coming in every day and you're actually making some type of money, or is it you're breaking even most of the time?
I think it depends. I think out of school, a lot of dentists, and I'm not a dentist, so I can't say this is for a fact, but I feel like this is what I've seen. Dentists will graduate, and like they can either go into general dentistry, where they can do, basic, like your family dentistry places. They can specialize in orthodontics. They can specialize root canals, things like that. But for the most part, in general dentistry, I feel like they graduate, and a lot of them will go work with another dentist, someone that's already established. And then that dentist is paying them, I want to say maybe hourly, kind of a thing. So they're making still probably way more than a hygienist makes. They're making dentist wages. But I think until they start, either they can like buy into the practice, like get their percentage, or start their own thing. And when you do that, I think you're getting more into debt first.
Yeah.
I don't know if that answers your question or if I just went all the way in a circle.
No, I think it does a little bit. I'm just having a hard time seeing how a dentist can be fully out of debt. If does that
I'm
make
sure,
sense?
like as far as like how much they make, I feel, it depends on the office. I'll say like that first office that I worked with, he was smaller. He was a small office, like I said, but he had a goal, and he wasn't there yet, I think, to make $1 million a year. So I think when you're smaller, you can definitely start with that. I would say, I feel like dentists. And then I worked for another dentist too, who he was really nice, and he would come from Boise to Blackfoot, where I was working at the time. And he was, he's like, go to dental. He would tell me to go to dental school. And I was like, I don't want to. He's like, do it. He's like, you're going to get in debt anyway. Like, it's going to be there. Just make sure you're investing your money. Like, when you start to make money, like, you have to make good choices. He's like, but the debt is going to be there.
Yeah, I think about that now more. I'm like, there's really hard for someone to be fully out of debt and still have money in the bank and like, live let's say a millionaire lifestyle. But I think that debt will always play a part in whatever you start, like in a business and whatever that is that you decide to kind of, start, it's hard. And so I think it's just kind of how you view debt. You can view debt as a good thing. Like, okay, I'm going to go $10,000 into debt, but this is an investment that, later on in, 10 years, 5 years, it's going to pay off. Or you can buy really stupid things and get into debt that way. So I think it's just kind of the viewpoint. But yeah, I was always interested in that because I see there's a lot of dentists around town, right? A lot of offices. I'm like, do they all make money, or do some like barely break even? Who are the ones that make the most money with the biggest offices, or are they just investing that into their office to make it look like
and attract more people?
So that's always been a question because You know, what do you see around town? You know, we're in Idaho Falls, so you see what? Dentist offices, orthodontics, pediatricians. What else?
There's a few pediatric dentists.
Pediatric dentists. Those I would say those are the most common ones. Oh, and freaking I forgot about this one. Chiropractors.
Oh yeah.
You see those all over. So those are like your 5 main offices around here. I'm like, how many people need their their backs, break or freaking aligned every day?
Some people do. I feel like in hygiene, I'm like this all day. Like I am hunched over, and we are supposed to practice like good ergonomics and be in good posture. But sometimes I'm like, this lady's like, I can't lay back all the way, and I'm like, okay, so screw me. I'm just gonna, I'll just flip all the way over. Yeah. But yeah, I think offices do make money. I think that a lot of them talk about that with their staff even. Like we have goals every day, how much you want to make or how much the office wants to make, and then it's super important too, not only to have those goals, but we try to, it's a big team effort with your front desk, your back desk, or your back people like hygienists, dentist assistants, and everyone working together, but you also have to collect that money. So it's important that like when someone is coming in for treatment or something, you're just like, okay, well, you're going to pay this down, and you make sure you're collecting that. Yeah. That's a big thing. Because you could say like, okay, we have all of these crowns coming in, but what if everyone's like, okay, I'm going to go get my wallet, and they leave with
I'll make a payment.
Yeah, or make a payment or payment plans, things like that. So like I think it varies, and I'm probably not the best one to talk about this, but I don't know. That's what I've seen in my experiences. I think dentists are open, I think, with their people and their employees, and they're like, okay, well, if we make this much, like our office has goals. If we make this much, you guys are going to get this much of a bonus. Yeah. And I think some dentists are really great about that, and then there's some that are really crappy, and they're just like, oh, like you worked really hard, here's $25. Yeah. And then there's some that really do reward you really well.
Gotcha. So, Can you say who you work for now? Or do you don't want to say?
I'm sure everyone knows who I work for right now. I work for Park West Dental, so I work for different offices. I love where I work right now, but I've worked for other offices, and I'm sure I know one of them would probably like hunt me down and sue me if I ever said anything bad about them. So
well, let's not talk about them. Yeah, I've been there. Or do you work over the one over by the Walmart one?
Yeah, by Pancari. Okay. Yeah, I work at the Pancari location.
I got a
took my brother there once.
Yeah, my mom
You're glaring. Did you have a bad experience?
Yeah,
no, well, he got his wisdom teeth out. Oh, he was a little aggressive, so.
Which doctor was it? You can blank it out.
I have no idea.
You don't know? Oh, okay.
What did he look like? Yeah,
it's been a long time. So a while. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, we have to ask him. We'll ask him, and then we'll tell you who it is.
I probably already know which one it was. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. Take that
out. I went to, do you know the family, I have a bad experience with dentists. You know the family community clinic?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so back in the day, they used to have like an in-store or in fucking clinic dentist, right? And the first time I ever went to a dentist was with that dude. And the dental hygienist was really nice. I know where she works at now. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, she was an assistant.
Yeah. Okay, so she was really nice. Yeah, I'll say that after. But she was really nice. But then this dude comes in, and he has like that little machine that goes, and he just freaking drills into my root. And I'm like, what the? I started crying. I was like crying and moving. I was like, stop. And he just wouldn't stop until he freaking got, my, I don't know what I had, but done. And then
since you numb? You weren't numb at all?
Well, apparently they applied numb, but I could feel everything. Like it was. I don't think it was enough anesthesia that they put on me. Is that how you say it? Anesthesia?
Yeah, anesthetic.
Yeah, that. So, yeah, that was my first experience. And then since then, I was like, okay, like I don't want to go to the dentist, and I had to go a couple times. And the last time I went was the one over by across from Winco.
Oh, okay.
I really like them. They're really nice, and so they just took out a muela, molar out of me, and that was it. There's one.
Yeah.
That was it.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah.
That's scary. It's sad. I think I've worked with older patients before, and they're like everyone's raised differently. And so I had a patient once who was like, I was never taught to brush my teeth. I've never learned how to floss, and so he was gonna lose all of his teeth. And then I've heard patients like, when I was little, I had to be strapped to like a papoose board. It's like a big, like a metal board, and then you just strap them in. Yeah. And so you're not moving. So as a little kid, they would use that all the time. So
yeah,
I would hear horror stories or patients that have been like slapped by doctors when they were little. Like I think it was another time, because they're like in their 80s. They're like, I was hit before. I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds terrifying.
Yeah, ever since that first time I went, I don't know what happened to that doctor, but after that, I think it just kind of went away.
I think they lost the funding, unfortunately, which is sad, because I think one of the things that I love about what I do, and that kind of brings me back to like my why or whatever, when I remember when I was little, obviously my dad we're like low income farming families, and they would take us from like the migrant program to the dentist, and it's not something that we would go to very often, and like my mom didn't know what was going on, or she couldn't speak English very well. So I love that I'm able to help like my Spanish speaking patients and little kids to like, because you see them, and I can see it too. Like, I just think of my mom all the time when I see older ladies, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I love them so much, because that's literally what I think of when they're in my chair, and I just think like, I can help this person tell me that they're in pain or tell me what their concerns are, and so I love that part of. So that's my weakness, is like any Mexican lady that comes into my office, I'm like, what do you want? I'll do whatever.
A soft heart for them.
Yeah, they're my soft spot.
That's cute.
Yeah. No, after that, I was like, I'm going to brush my teeth.
I never want to go back.
Yeah, I don't want to go back. And I don't go to the dentist too often, but we've been wanting to, lately, we've been wanting to get our teeth whitening.
Yeah, but I was telling him I don't think I can do it if I'm pregnant.
You can.
Oh, I can.
Mine is, well, I think most of the stuff is safe for pregnancy. I did it on my sister while she was pregnant also, but it's your comfort level. I know some people that are like, oh, I'd rather not, but it's all the reason why we can. I don't know for specifically for my products. I know that I can say like they're FDA approved, safe while you're nursing and pregnant. But there are some things like tubes of bleach, like if you do bleach trays, that they say they're not safe for pregnant women, but it's simply because they haven't been tested on pregnant women. But I know mine are pregnancy safe. They're all organic, minimal sensitivity and stuff. Yeah. So if that's something that you're looking for, I can help you out.
Hell yeah. Let's get into it. So, you decided to start this business. How long have you had this business for you?
I am a baby business. I started in February of this year. So just a few months. Yeah. So sometimes when you wanted me to come on, I was talking to Rod. I was like, I don't feel like I'm successful yet in my business to like, like to be talking about it so far. But he's like, what, are you kidding me? And he's great. He's always like he's a good hype man. But he's like, okay, I'll do it. Like, cause if there's someone who does want to start a whitening business, it's great. I love it. Yeah.
And the main reason why I wanted to have you on is because to me, when someone starts a business, it's always great just because I want to know the story behind wanting, the reason why, and then success. I don't think you can judge a business solely on like how much money they make or how successful they are with like how many patients they have coming in or whatever. I think you can manage success also in how the person and who the person is. Like if the person is really driven, really focused, and really wants to make something for themselves and push their business forward, you'll notice that, and to me that's being successful already. If you're someone who just doesn't want to do anything and just says, oh, I started a business, but you don't promote your business, you don't do anything to help out your business, you're not successful. You at least have a little bit of success by promoting, by saying, hey, like this and that, so that's why I was like, I want to have her in. Later on, maybe when you're a freaking multimillionaire, we'll have you back in. And then now you'll tell us how you made all that money.
Exactly.
But for now, how did you get into wanting to do this business? What was the thought process behind it?
I think the first time I had seen someone doing like whitening, as far as a hygienist, was one of my friends that I went to school with. She lives in Utah. And she started her own, like, I think she does mobile. Like, so she goes to people's homes and whitens their teeth, which is nice. And that was something that I was going to offer, but I was like, this is too much of a hassle to pack things up and go to someone's house. And what if it's unsafe and all those things. So anyway, I had seen her do it and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then this other girl was like, we should look into that, who lives in Pocatello. And I was like, yeah, let me know. She's like, I'm going to message that company or ask her what products she uses and we'll go from there. And so we had asked her about it and she told us a little bit and I like looked into it and I was like, that's cool. And I was like, okay, like maybe I'll do it someday. Yeah. And it wasn't something that I, at that point in time, was like, okay, I'm going to do this for sure. Like let's do it.
How long ago was this when you were having these conversations?
I want to say maybe 2018, it was after COVID maybe. I'm not sure.
Like
I would have to look. Yeah.
2021, something like that?
Yeah, 2020, 2021. Maybe 2021 when I have to see when she started, but it was, I saw her doing that and I was like, that's cool. And then I just kind of put it at the back of my mind. And there's actually quite a few whitening businesses here in Southeast Idaho, and there's like people that there's a girl in Rexburg that trains a lot of girls. So like for whitening, you don't have to be a hygienist or an assistant. You can go and get certified, get a certificate, a day training, and they teach you how to do it. And a lot of places will give you like business model kind of things. Like they tell you how to get your LLC, all of that startup stuff, which is great. Cool. I think it's really cool. Yeah. And there's someone in Rexburg who does that. And as I was starting to get more serious about it, I was like, let me see how much she charges for that. Like, do I need certification? Because I do whitenings in my job all the time. Yeah. I already know how to whiten teeth. I know a lot more background than a lot of like whitening technicians or assistants or anyone just off the street that gets their certificate. I already have a huge background in it. So I was like, well, why not? So I kind of looked at that and I was just like, I don't want to like talk down on anyone. So if you want to blank this out, you can. But she charges like $3,000, $4,000 to train you for one day.
For one day?
It's a one day. And it comes with like your supplies, your chair. Yes, she helps you a lot. But I was like, that's a lot. Like, I already do this all the time. Like, I know how to do it. Why am I going to pay that much? Yeah. So then I looked at my friends, what she does. And I was like, this is more affordable. They have different kits, basically. So you can buy like the light and all of the stuff to get you started. And you can do an online training if you want. And I didn't need that. So I was just like, I just want to buy the stuff. Yeah. And then they teach you your licensing, things like that. So you're still business, like you know how to do your business kind of a thing, LLC, things like that. And that's what I went through instead. So I got my 2 lights. I got all my supplies from there. They're local from Boise, the company that I go through.
Not the same one that we...
That's not the same one, no. And it's not the same one. I think they started as a whitening company, but now they just do wholesale products, which is great. They've been around for a few years, and I really like the products that I use. They're called Fresh Effects, and and they're local in Boise and in Salt Lake City. They have a bunch of locations there. Yeah. There's 2 couples that own the company, and they're great. And so I went through her, like I asked my friend, her name is Sadie, shout out to Sadie. And, and I was like, tell me about this, like, what do you like it? And she's like, yes, it's so good. I do this on the side. She's like, whenever I have time, I'll do a whitening. It's good, let's be honest, it's good money when you're not in hygiene. And she's like, it's great. She's like, I would recommend it. I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna like look into it more, like be a little more serious. And then I think it was like Christmas last year. I had Julio's best friend is Scarface, Edgar Cortez. So they're besties. And then my bestie, Brenda, we always do a Christmas like lunch or dinner. We always hang out.
Brenda, is it the same Brenda that I had in here a couple?
No, Brenda Juarez. She lives in Rigby. She's a social worker.
Well, shout out to Brenda. Shout
to
out
both of them. Yeah, shout out to all of the Brendas.
Shout out to Scarface and whoever else. Everyone. Shout out to you guys.
These are all the steps that I take to be where I'm at with all these people. But we were all hanging out. We do like a Christmas lunch and just hang out and play games and stuff for Christmas every year. And he's like, why aren't you doing teeth whitening? And I was just like, I don't know. I have it, like, we and Julio have already talked about it. Like, I have it in my head. It's there. Like, I have that spark. Because I was also seeing, like, more companies, like, more girls starting to do that teeth whitening thing. I think there was, like, 2 here in town. And you have to do your background research. Like, how many people are already doing this? Is there anyone that speaks Spanish that's already doing this?
You got to check the, what's it called? The saturation. Yeah. See how many people are doing it, really. Absolutely. I think it's important.
Yeah. So I had done some of that, and there's some people that already do it, and I was just like, oh, that's always at the back of your head. You're like, is there room for me? Like, and that's so big, and I know, I'm like, I hype myself up. I'm like, there's 60,000 people in Idaho Falls. There's 20,000 people in Ammon. Like, I can't whiten 80,000 people's teeth, by myself. Yeah. That's how, like, I think I finally convinced myself to do it. I was like, I can't do it all by myself. They can't do it all by themselves. That's why we have so many, like, barbers, haircut girls, cosmetologists. There's literally room for everyone and everything. Yeah. So I think I was like, okay. And then he kind of reignited that flame that I had at the back of my head. He's like, why aren't you doing this? Like, you're already a hygienist. You should do it. And I was like, okay, I'll keep looking into it, kind of a thing. And he would like text me once in a while, like, are you looking into it? And I'm like, yes, I'm looking into it. It's going good. Don't worry. Just kind of, keep me accountable. So, so I did, I looked into it. So that was December of last year of 22. And then I opened in February of 23. So it's kind of fast.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, I know how to do it.
Sometimes the best decisions are when you take it in the moment and you do it fast.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get held back if they think about it too much and they don't just pull the trigger and say, hey, fuck it.
Yeah.
You know?
Because if you think about it, it was like a year since it was all of last, like summer. I was like, oh, look at like dabbling into like thinking about it and getting information. And I was like, okay, it's there. Maybe I'll do it next year. And I just ended up, he's just like, do it. What are you waiting for? And I was like, okay. Yeah. So he like did help. And I think it's something that's always in the back of my head. So I finally took that leap. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool. I'm you know what? I'm proud.
Thank you.
You should be proud of yourself. And I think it's just badass that you actually did it and pulled the trigger. Cause not funny story, but similar story to us. Like I've been thinking about this podcast for over like, since I was 19. Didn't pull the trigger until January. January was like the first. I was like, okay, let's freaking record. But before that, it took from September? From September till January, I did my research. I did everything. And then in January, and then I ordered this stuff in Christmas. And then January, I was like, okay, let's start filming. Yeah. And it's the best decision I've made. This year, aside from getting married and everything. So you just got to pull the trigger sometimes. Yeah. And it's scary, right? Because you'll go into it without knowing if it'll like work or not. That's like the scariest thought, I feel like, but you just got to be open-minded. There's a book I'm going to recommend to you. It's called The Magic of Thinking Big. A great book. You're going to love it.
I'll add it to my Kindle.
Do it and read it. I think it'll help you a lot. So you start this business, you pull the trigger. What was it like having your first client walk in?
It was exciting. Aside from family, I think, because I feel like, and I'm not going to say like, well, let's say it, like you got to fake it till you make it, right? Yeah. Yeah, so there's always like, you're just like, hi, you're coming in. I'm excited, obviously, but you forget things too. Like I forgot to take my first before and after picture because I was so excited, I was like, okay, I have my before, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot to take my after picture, because that's a lot of it. Like honestly, it's a lot of marketing. You have to market it all yourself. So I was like, great, I just did my first one, like my first real person, and I was like, and I forgot to take the freaking after picture. Yep. And I still do that now. Like sometimes if I have clients that I know already, we just get to chatting, and I'm like, oh, this looks so good, and we chat about anything else. I'm like, so and then they're gone, and I'm like, crap, I forgot to take their picture. So I think so I was nervous, but I feel like I do it all the time. I think the only thing I get nervous about in the back of my head for some reason is I'm like, what if this doesn't work? Like I don't know why. I think of like, what if this product doesn't give this person the results that they want? I don't want to let people down. Yeah. And so and some people probably have felt let down. It's so hard with the lighting. Like when I take my before and after picture, sometimes people, like my sisters, are like, that one doesn't look that impressive, or they'll tell you the truth. Because I asked them, I'm like, does this look like it's made a big difference? They're like, not really. Or I asked Rod. I've asked him a lot, and so then or like, what looks better, to do pictures this way or this way, and they'll be honest with me, which is what I like. But it's hard because you have to market yourself, and it's hard to remember to do every, just the backup things, the before and after pictures, or did I tell them all of their aftercare things? Like, it's a lot of little steps at first, and I'm like, okay, I have to remember to do this. And I forgot, then I have to take my glove off and take their picture, and it's a lot of gloves that I'm going through and all of this stuff. But I think it was a little mentally, like I'm running around in my head, like freaking out. But keep it cool, fake it till you make it.
Have you developed the system, or are you looking into developing a system to help you with your process, right? Of like, this is step 1, step 2, step 3, or you just kind of like, the day you get there, it's the day that I'm going to think about all this stuff.
I have everything set up before every appointment. If that helps, I always have everything out, like my water, my cups, my bibs, everything. And I triple check, and I try to be there early and have everything ready, set up and clean and ready to go. So I don't have anything that I'm going to forget. Nice. So I keep now my lights out, so I remember to take a picture. I keep everything, so I try to have an order to the way I do it all. Heck yeah.
What's the process for the client, do you recommend when they text you, or I don't know how it works, right? If they just if it's walk-ins, or if they text you, What do you kind of have them do before they go in?
Right now I'm by appointment only because I still have my full-time hygiene job. I work
Right.
4 days a week in hygiene, and then my other 3 days, or sometimes in the evenings, I'll do an appointment in the week, during the week after work. And so before your appointment, it's so important to be hydrated. So drinking so much water. And I send like a long novel basically the day before your appointment. And I always, first of all, the first thing on there is like, you're going to be here for 1.5 to 2 hours. Mm-hmm. It's 3 or 4 sessions, 20 minutes each. I have comfy chairs, there's massagers. I turn off the lights, and you can take a nap if you want. And so I think a lot of people get really impatient, and I've had people like, how long is this going to take? Like, this is going to take a long time. And I'm like, just fall asleep. I'm like, shh, it's okay. You're going to be fine.
You put melatonin in your drink.
Have this to drink. Have a gummy before we start. That's a good idea. Maybe I'll
just have them sign NDAs. That way they don't sue you.
Exactly. No, I do informed consent. They go through everything because everyone's different. Results are going to be different. I say, like, think of a tan. Like, if you guys are tanning, he's a little more tan. You're not going to get as tan as he is in the same session. He's obviously going to get. You're gonna leave with a better tan than she is. It's gonna take her a little while to get there.
Hey, that's the first time someone compliments me on my skin, color. That's amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
She's always calling me.
He's like, "What'd you say?"
Say that again. What, you said better tan?
Yeah, but you're just more pigmented, more melanin. That's all right.
Yeah.
So
sounds way better.
I'm the tan one in my relationship. Julio's like white.
It sounds way cool when you say pigmented, melanate. What did you say?
Melanin.
Whatever that
more
was.
melanin.
Yeah, because it sounds better than saying, "Oh, dude, you're freaking dark. You're burnt." I'm like, you don't gotta call me burnt. Like, you don't gotta say.
I hear that all the time. Our families, you're like, "Estás bien prieta," bien morena, or something.
It just hurts, because like I didn't decide to get this skin color. Like
you gave this to me.
Yeah. So you give them this list of what to do. Mm-hmm. They come in, they get set up. What have you seen in people's teeth? Are they like bad? Or are they good? Or how do you see them?
Definitely, like, I've had a mix of everything. I think in some of my before pictures, like, there's people, because in my instructions, you're not supposed to brush or floss for 4 to 6 hours before. That can cause like little micro abrasions, like you can scratch, like tiny like scratches in your teeth if you want to think about it that way.
Okay.
And so then with the product that I'm using, it can make you more sensitive. So that's why I'm like, you want to avoid that. And then if you floss, let's be honest, not everyone flosses. And so some people are like, oh my gosh, she's going to be up close and personal in my teeth right now. I'm going to go ham with the floss. And and make up for all these weeks of flossing that I haven't done. Yeah. And so that can cause you to cut your gums. So I would almost rather like show up with junk in your mouth. That's okay. We'll rinse and we'll wipe it off. Mm-hmm. But, like in some pictures, you can see like people have plaque, people might have food in them. It's because I tell them not to brush or floss before. And that's okay. You can rinse before and that's fine. And then, like I said, drink so much water. You literally have to drink at least 80 ounces of water that's like, think 2 Stanley mugs. You know what, those big, like, that's a lot. It's a lot of water.
I don't think I can.
Sure.
Right. I
think of it as the 2 Stanley cups that like you see everyone have. Drink at least 2 of those.
Yeah, I've been trying to drink a gallon of water a day. It's so hard.
That was one of my goals in like 2021 when all those the giant gallons were in. I was like, yes, I'm gonna drink so much water.
And then now
the little gallons right there.
I'm pouring it out.
What's the worst? You don't have to say the patient's name or anything, but what's like the worst you've seen or
I don't think I've had anyone where I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't whiten your teeth today. Like, I've had patients where, yes, they have tartar buildup or I know they need a cleaning. And in some cases, I've had someone who sees their before and after pictures and they're like, oh my God, I need to go get my teeth cleaned. Yeah. Because they'll be like, well, what about this? And it's dark, like under the gums. And I'm like, I can't touch that. When I have people in for whitenings, in my informed consent, like you are not receiving any hygiene care. I can tell, like, yes, I can be like, you should probably go get a cleaning, but I can't clean your teeth. Yeah. I'm not doing any hygiene stuff because I'm not working under a dentist. It's just me. So I have, insurance to protect myself and my license because that's something that you want to look out for. I don't want to lose my license or anything. But that's something that I'm like, well, let's go, like, come in and you can see me for a cleaning or you can go to somewhere else and get a cleaning. So I've had patients that are like, yeah, I'm like, you just need a cleaning, and that's going to be the cherry on top to finish up your bright smile.
Yeah.
So,
do you put a mask on?
I do.
Okay. Can you smell people's breaths sometimes?
I don't think I've had anyone that I at work, at hygiene, when I'm in a hygiene office, yes, I can smell people's breaths. Sometimes, you know, in school, we would see like the best, like the easiest, and we'd see the worst of the worst. And I've had to put vaporu in my mask or in my nostril. Like, you see all sorts of stuff. For sure, like in hygiene. But as whitening, I haven't seen anyone that I'm like, I can't. I think people know, like if their teeth are bombed out, they can't get them whitened. And I think I wouldn't say, like, whitening is a luxury kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not something that you can go and do. It's like your eyelashes. It's like your hair. It's all cosmetic.
Yeah.
So I think people that have lots of cavities or have all of this stuff, that's not something that's in their bracket or in their range at the time.
Yeah, the priority.
That's not the priority. Yeah. Like if they know, like, oh my gosh, my gums are bleeding, I should probably go get a cleaning before I think about getting my whitening, then that's when they go over there. But I feel like people that are in, I don't want it to sound like mean or anything, but it's just like that's not what's on their radar. Whitening is not the thing that they're looking at the time.
I mean, usually they don't think about that if you have like a molar hurting or if you have a cavity.
If you're in tooth pain. I will say, I had like, Rod helped me like post this one thing on this page on Facebook that is for a lot of like Latinos or Hispanos and stuff. Yeah. And I just had my DMs flooded because I thought, I was like, this is great because I obviously want to cater to Spanish speaking patients or people that don't like, you know, are going to feel uncomfortable going to get their teeth whitened with somewhere where they don't understand everything that's going on. So we tried, I was like, help me to post this because I can't advertise myself on this page. But he like went asking for a question, and then people like commented different whitening places that they could go to or something. But where I speak Spanish, I just ended up getting people like, are you a dentist? Like, can you help me? Like, and I was like, I'm not a dentist, but I know where you can go. Like, and you know, I would refer them to my office or something because we have a few Spanish speaking people there. But that kind of made a mess. And those are the people that definitely knew that that's where their concern was, is finding a dentist, finding someone that speaks Spanish where they can get attention.
Yeah. We've been wanting to get our teeth whitening, but like she said, you know, we didn't know if like she could get it. And then I was like, well, I'm gonna wait till Lily comes in here and like talks to me, and then maybe after we can, you know, set something up or whatnot. For sure. But I want to ask you about these white or teeth whitening devices that they sell like at Walmart or places like that.
Like the strips.
Yeah, or like, you know how those like at one point like all these famous people were using like this one circular thing. Yeah. Do those actually work, or are those more for like marketing?
I think it's a little bit of both because I use an LED light, and some people might think like, well, is this really doing something? Yeah. But some of the products, depending on the type of bleach, because there's like mine is hydrogen peroxide based. There are some that have carbamide in them, and that one's like a slower but a less strong percentage. So hydrogen peroxide, it can vary, but it just really depends because some of the ingredients might need to be activated by a light.
Oh, I see what you mean, like a reaction type of deal.
So it creates almost like a bubbling effect for some people, or they can hear like the fizziness when they have that in. So some things might need it, and some things it could be, you know, all for looks or kicks and giggles. But
yeah, because I would see like there's this fighter, I'm not gonna say his name or anything, but he would promote this device a ton, right? But the fool had veneers, and to me, I was like, what are you promoting if your veneers are like, you can tell they're veneers, they're brand new, like they're white, obviously. Show me someone who has like yellow teeth, and then, you know, show me that it works. Because like you said, well, I don't know if it's a lot of marketing going behind it, or if it's just like the new big device that's around. So I was just like, I'm going to ask Lily if they actually work. Because to me, I've seen your post and your chairs and everything. I'm like, that looks very professional. Like it looks like you're going to go and you're going to come out with some type of result. And so the devices, like the lighting, you know, and everything. Yeah. So I was just, I wonder. So with your business, how big do you want it to grow? Or what do you want? What do you want to get out of it?
What do I want? Sky's the limit, you know. Yeah. Eventually, who knows? I mean, I always like to talk positively, you know. Yes. I mean, I don't want to be like, I'm never gonna get there. I'm never gonna make this much money or whatever. I always want to say, you know, ideally, I could open my own storefront and have a bunch of chairs in there and employees. Like I could train people to do it for me. That would be cool. I'm like, and that's maybe something that I would work towards, and maybe not be in hygiene at all anymore. And I mean, either way, it's people either do it mobily and it's great. And like I said, it's not something I don't think I want to do right now, but yeah, I think I see when I envision Illumina teeth whitening, I'm like, I dream big. And so I'm like, one day I'm going to have a storefront and I'm not even going to have to whiten anyone's teeth anymore. I'm just going to run the Instagram.
Just take the pictures.
Yeah, I'm just going to take pictures and, so yeah, hopefully one day I'll have employees or I can train people or I can gear towards like training people in Spanish, to do something like that. And kind of, more inspired by like that girl in Rexburg who does a lot of the training things. I can do that too. Anyone can do it. Yeah. So I think if you're excited about that, and it's something that I've looked into is being an ambassador for the company that I work for. I definitely want to do this a little bit more and have my business grow a little more and see how I get in my first year. But I do definitely want to start teaching people how to do this and how to start their own businesses and maybe do tooth gems too. I have that on my radar because that's kind of big too and people really like that. So
yeah, tooth gems. Get a diamond right here.
I've seen really cool ones with like old English and gold like little letters, so they'll do like their initials or
man.
I used to like the little diamonds on these.
Yeah, those and they look cute. I think I've seen people wear those, and I've done some for the assistants at my work, like and so they're like, well, you put this on, and it wasn't like a proper like gem. It was one from the dollar store, and I'm like, sure. It's like I'll put it on. It fell off in 2 days, so definitely get the right products.
Yeah.
We were just trying it to try it and see what would happen. But
how long do those last? Usually?
It depends. I think it depends. Like the ones that we just literally got it from the dollar store. Like we want to try it and put it on, and one of them lasted for a long time, and then one of them fell off like the next day. Yeah. But it depends. I think how well you're cleaning them, and I've seen a girl have hers for a year. So
wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
A lot.
Does it damage your
teeth?
It's kind of the thing with that is that I get really worried when I see people do like, I don't know if you've seen like butterflies with the gems. Like there's like, let's say like an almond shaped gem and then a circle one, and people make butterflies in between your two teeth. So I am always worried, like, are you brushing that well? Like, are you flossing that already? Like, because you have to take care of that. You could like potentially where it's like a bunch of diamonds meeting in between, get plaque and build up, and if you don't floss, like you're gonna get a big cavity under that if it's not taken care of. So I don't like seeing those really, really big elaborate creations that people do and put diamonds on all the teeth or make little butterflies or flowers. I don't like that. I like it classic, clean, have one where you can take care of it and you're able to brush it and it's not going to affect in between your teeth. So I think when I do bring that on, I will not be doing like big elaborate things. I would just be like, keep it simple, classic.
Nice
so
and simple.
because I don't want it to affect your teeth.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be able even to remove it because it would have to be removed by a dentist. So they would have to, if you're sick of it, either falls off and you're going to have this, like the sealant material that's there that's keeping it on, you're going to feel that.
The glue?
So yeah, the dentist has to smooth it off with a drill because hygienists and assistants can't use drills.
That's a lot of work for a diamond.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, it's a lot if you're wanting to have that for the long run, sure. And if you take care of it, that's great. But I think if you're a 14-year-old girl who doesn't brush her floss, or boy who doesn't brush her floss, I don't think I would have some serious talking with like the parents first. Like this could affect you for sure if you're not cleaning it and if it's huge.
Yeah. Whoa, that's a lot. Shit, I had it and then lost it. With your teeth whitening, so right now you're marketing yourself through Instagram mainly.
Yeah.
How do you plan to grow that?
It's hard. It's really hard, but I feel like the days that for example, I did not post something once for like 2 weeks and it was like just super busy. It was like the end of April and we had Easter, like all this stuff going on. And I would have a few whitenings here or there, but I wasn't posting when I was there. I was like super busy, didn't make time. And it would like my DMs or appointments would just kind of lull. Like I didn't get anyone like really like hitting me up for appointments or asking me questions. But the days that I am at like my studio and I'm making reels, the days that I'm posting that I'm there, when I have clients there, posting befores and afters, then that's when you see people are like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. When can I get in? Or what is this process like? Or that's when I'm busy like messaging people, messaging me back or things like that. I feel like you have to and it's a lot of work, like doing your Instagram, answering all of these questions, working full time and all of that. Like I have reels that I set up that are scheduled reels, like you can schedule your posts. So I do that when I'm at work. I have a post in the middle of the morning and I'm working hygiene.
Yeah.
So I have that going on. I think you just have to fake it till you make it. Make it look like you make it look at the beginning like you're really busy.
Yeah, of course.
And you have to. And there's the secrets of the trade, I think, is that like at the beginning, for sure, I made it look like I was super, super busy. And now I am like busy and I'm like, oh my gosh, but I'm like, am I gonna be able to do this? And I have piles of laundry at home, but I don't have it all together. Definitely don't have it all together, but it's
a process.
It's a process, and it's what I wanted,
Yes.
You think about last year I was thinking about that I wanted this, and now I have it, and I'm putting in the work for it. So it's a lot of work, and I schedule all my posts, and I have Julio holding my camera or post, when I'm doing things, and he is really supportive and great, and it's definitely a team effort when he's helping me do things or where he's my maintenance guy. And then it's a team effort at home too, and I have piles of laundry and he's helping me fold them. So it's a lot,
really
but
cool.
it's a kind of like checks and balances. Like if I'm really, really great, like doing business stuff, then things at home are falling off as far as like laundry or things, you know what I mean? Things like that.
The actual home life. What's let's say I go tomorrow to get my teeth whitening, right? Mm-hmm. How longer?
She's like, boy, I don't work on Sundays.
I have an appointment tomorrow. I am working tomorrow.
It's okay. Making money. It's good.
Yes, making money.
So if I go tomorrow, let's say, right? How many months do I have to wait, or when's the next time, or how does it work for me to go again?
Mm-hmm.
What do you recommend usually to clients?
Yeah, so like I said, everyone's different when it comes to results, but everyone's different when it comes to how long you can maintain your results too.
Okay.
If you are a coffee drinker, dark soda drinker, if you have a lot of protein shakes, green juice, think like if something can stain your white shirt, it's going to stain your teeth. Okay. So, there's those tough stains that are really hard to get out and you have to pre-treat them. And there's people that, that can get whitenings once a year and they're great. You can maintain them forever. And then there's people that chew tobacco, smoke, have a lot of coffee. They're coming in every 3 months and already have set up. They're like, okay, I want to come in pretty frequently because I know I get stained a lot faster. Oh, wow. So a lot of people have to come in a lot sooner, and everyone's different. But I always recommend, there's great whitening toothpaste out there. I also sell like a little touch-up pen that helps with surface stains too.
I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, I really like it. I have just started using it. I bleached my own teeth or whitened them 6 weeks ago. And then I've been using just the touch-up pen at night, and I was like, wow, this really because I hadn't tried it yet, but I want to try it before I recommend it to people. Yes. And it's great. I think it does really great on surface stains too. Like if you want to touch up and maintain, let's say you want to do it twice a year, you can come in twice a year for your cleanings and use the pen, a couple times a week, and it keeps up with everything. That's pretty cool. But everyone's different as far as what you eat. And so after you get your teeth whitened, I always recommend 2 hours just drinking water. The next 24 hours, you're going to be on an all white diet. So just like white foods, white bread, white pasta, things that are super light in color, like chicken. You don't want to have any red meat, anything with tomatoes, strawberries, juices, things like that. For the next 24, 48 hours, your teeth are going to absorb anything that it can get its hands on, really. So you just want to be really careful with things like that, and then it kind of expand it. The more that you have coffee, if you drink coffee every day or things like that, that's going to kind of start to dull down your brightness. So that it just depends for everyone. It's pretty different. Like I said, some people want to come in 3 months, and some people can come in 12 months. So it varies.
It's interesting. What's our time?
An hour 13.
Wow.
Look at that.
That went by so fast.
Really fast. That's really cool. And I still have a couple questions, huh? It's interesting. So teeth whitening, it's getting big, right? I think it's getting bigger now. We're seeing a lot of the veneers going on, the products, they market with that. Teeth whitening, though, I think is getting bigger in this area. Are you going to stay open to all clients, or are you going to pick a niche, right? Like a lot of business owners will say, you find your niche and then start there and then build up. Do you think your niche, because you are, Hispanic and you talk both languages, do you think that's your niche?
That's I think what I was gearing towards is when I told you I was doing my market research stuff, I was there's one person in Idaho Falls that speaks Spanish. Wow. And I was and I can be the second, but I'm also the first one that's a hygienist that speaks Spanish that has their, background in that.
Hell yeah.
So there's that. You know what I mean? You have to see what everyone else is offering, and then you look at pricing too. Like I had to rent a studio is what I decided to do.
Could you tell us where your studio's at and what your pricing is too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm located off of 25th Street. So I'm at 2232 East 25th Street. I'm behind Excellence in Dentistry. So it's another dentist office right across from the Westmark right there, the corner of Channing and 25th Street. And I am by appointment only. And right now my starting prices are $165 for a standard whitening. And then if you come in with a person, so if two people, let's say for example, you guys both want to come in, it's $300 for the both of you. So $150 each if you think about it. So it gives you a little discount there. And then it's nice because you can bring someone with you. A lot of people are nervous. Like you're like, I'm going in to go do this. I don't really know her, or I've just seen her on Instagram or something,
Is she nice?
Yeah. Is she really nice? Or, you don't know.
Yeah.
And so like, it's nice to bring a buddy. So that's another option. Touch-ups are $110. And then I sell those touch-up pens for $35.
Gotcha.
I also have a special for teenagers. So if you just are out of braces, I like to do kiddos for $135. So, that they don't have a lot of buildup and things like that. And especially after braces, it's the perfect time to bleach teeth because they're young and, that's when that product is going to be absorbed into their teeth really well. But sometimes it can take, like I said, everyone's tanning level is different.
Yeah.
So it can take a few times.
And you can't do the teeth whitening with braces on?
No. Could think of a tan, like when you're wearing a swimsuit.
Yeah.
You're going to get those tan lines.
Oh, hell no.
I don't think you want to picket fence on your...
No, that'd be terrible. Damn. I want to ask you this. Are your prices, compared to the other people that know about teeth whitening, how are they, would you say? Are they fair? Are they a little bit low? Higher?
Yeah.
How are you pricing yourself and what's that like?
I know. That is something that's so hard, I think, for everyone to want to know, am I too expensive? But I would say I've seen people that do whitening, let's say like at a med spa or like where you go get your lashes done for $75 and it's like a cosmetologist that's just going to do your whitening. I've also seen someone who has an in-home studio and charges, I want to say $180 to $200, but a lot of that is marketing. Like, let's say, like, she markets herself amazingly. She has, I want to say, like 1,000 followers. She does great videos. She's gorgeous. Her teeth are gorgeous. Like her how she markets herself is amazing.
Her image is really good. Her image,
what she portrays is awesome. So hell yeah, I'm gonna go pay $180 if she's, you know what I mean?
If she's portraying,
exactly. And I've seen some people that start off normally. I want to say 150 is normal.
I think you're at a good pricing.
I'm at 165. I have the background. I didn't get into an argument with one of my sisters, but my youngest was like $165. She's like, "Do you think I'm made out of money?" And I was just like I know what I'm putting out there. I know I'm using great products. I know my background. I've been doing this for, not as a whitening technician, but I've been a dental hygienist for 5 years. Like I have the background, like I have all of this experience. Why not charge $165?
Yeah. And I think that, what helps you a lot is that helps you a ton, but also I think it's a perspective thing, right? It's how you think about it. 'Cause, you can go and pay $75 to someone who does it in a salon or whatever, but are you really going to get what you're going to get out of it what you pay for it, right? But if you market yourself, like you say, like that lady who markets herself really well, from what I hear, she charges a ton, but her results are there. So if your results are there, right, which I think they are, I think it's fair to charge what you charge. And it's only, it's only gonna get better from that. Yeah. The people who can pay $165 are gonna pay $165. If they can't pay that, they're gonna go look for someone cheaper. If they can pay more, they'll give you probably a tip, right? Or shit, I don't know, they'll go with someone else. But I think $165 is a good starting point with your background, with what you know from being able to give advice. Not, I wouldn't say advice, but opinions about how to take care of their teeth. Because I don't think you can give advice, can you?
I just can't do hygiene services. I'm not going to start scaling your teeth, or I'm not going to polish your teeth. I can't do that kind of a stuff there. I can tell you you should probably go get a cleaning. You should probably, there's a cavity, there's something that looks like a cavity. It's a dark spot. Maybe you should go see a dentist.
Go check it out. So I think all that accumulated together, $165, dude, you're getting a deal. What are you doing, Plus, if you market yourself really well, the sky's the limit. So.
It's fun. Yeah, it's fun. I like doing what I do, and I definitely feel like I am giving you your money's worth.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like where I'm set up, you're having a massage, you're taking a nap, and you're going to wake up and your teeth are great, you know? So.
There we go. All right, Lily, well, let's wrap it up. Tell us your Instagram, where to find you, and then just any advice for the people who want to get into teeth whitening possibly, or who want to go get their teeth whitened.
For sure. My Instagram is ilumina.32. You can book there. There's a booking link, or you can DM me if there's appointment times that you don't see that, you know, if you want to come in later at night, I'll whiten your teeth at 11 p.m. We'll make it work. For my advice is reach out. Reach out to people, even though it's scary. I've had people reach out and ask me what stuff I'm using, and that's just fine for sure. And then if you're wanting to go into it, just ask people. There's so many different companies and trainers even here in town, and so hopefully one day I'll be a trainer and be able to train you. What else? Was that it? Was that your other thing?
Unless you want to say something else.
No, thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you for coming in. I had a lot of fun with you. It was fun talking to you and kind of knowing your story. At one point, do you want to do a part 2? So you're invited back.
Yes. Yeah, let's do it.
And so, just thank you for coming in. Guys, go check us out. Check her out. Illumina. What?
32. Because you have 32 teeth.
Damn. Some people look like they have 72 teeth, but you have 32. Anyways, go check her out, guys. Check us out on Instagram, the OAP official. Brandon A. Lara, Jackie with 3 A's, CKIE _ Windsor Project Podcast, Apple, Spotify, TikTok, and YouTube. Yeah. That's it. All right, guys.
Okay.
See ya.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you again, Lily, for coming in. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Oh,
So fun. That went by so fast.
that went by
It
super
did.
quick.